Matt Aguilar here from comicbook.com. And today I have the pleasure of speaking to WWE Superstar Zoey Stark. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me on.
Of course, you're super busy these days. We got a big thing coming up with Survivor Series, and obviously there's some title gold on the line.
Yeah.
And you'll be taking on Rhea Ripley, and
Yeah.
your last exchange between you guys was great, but it was also, Ripley said was very complimentary of like how much you've accomplished in your
Yeah.
first year on Raw, and also even said that like she saw a little bit of herself in you. I know it's an opponent, and obviously
Yes.
no amount of nice words is gonna like change like how you approach the
No.
match and things. But does that praise still hit for you?
Yeah, for sure. Rhea Ripley, she's been dominating. She's one of the top girls that we have on WWE. So to hear that is amazing. And she's right. I made a name for myself very quickly to where I'm now becoming one of the top girls. But none of that's lost on me. She's still holding a title that I want.
Right. Absolutely.
Like she could compliment me all day long, but I want that title.
Well, and your first year you have done so much since the draft and joining Raw. Obviously they're not through it yet. There's plenty more to go, but how
Mhm.
do you look at your first year on Raw? Was there anything that kind of took you off guard, unexpected?
I mean, really, all of it. They've been giving me a lot of opportunities here, and I feel like I've been knocking them out of the park with every single one that they've given me. Getting to work alongside Trish and Becky, main eventing Raw with Becky, doing Money in the Bank, getting to do a Royal Rumble. I mean, there's so many things within the first 6 months, even really through the year, to where it's just crazy that they keep giving me an opportunity after opportunity. So I'm doing something right.
Well, and I think in NXT, you were always kind of towards the top, but from when that heel turn hit, I just
Hmm.
feel like ever since, like it's been just continued momentum. It feels like a switch flipped, and it's just like,
Yeah.
is that the case? I mean, do you kind of feel that way too, or no?
I no, I definitely do feel that way, and I feel like part of it's because when you're a baby face, it's like sitting there, the white meat baby face sitting there smiling, high fiving the fans and everything. You can't say anything that you really want to say, and you got to be the nice girl. When you turn heel, you're more free to do whatever you want, to where you could be really more myself of like, I'm not going to play this game. I'm not going to be part of this bullshit. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. So I definitely think it was a big switch with me being a heel.
Was that something you had pitched, or did that just kind of happen organically?
It happened organically. I did mention about me being a heel when I was like on my way coming back from my injury.
Hmm.
It's like it might be fun to be able to do a little bit of this, but we were so far away from it where it didn't really matter. Really, it just started to put ideas together and sending them off to creative. So obviously they had me come back as a face, but when we started working with Nikita a little bit, that's when it started to show that I was going to turn more of the heel route. So I was super excited for that.
Yeah. And I think that benefited, unfortunately with Nikita and the injury, not that part,
Yeah,
obviously it's
yeah,
unplanned, but
right.
the storyline aspect, I thought it benefited both of you so much.
Yeah, I feel like it helped us both grow as far as characters.
Well, and then coming on to Raw, obviously you mentioned working with a Hall of Famer, Trish Stratus. It's one thing to, you know, uh, be in a segment or have some kind of back and forth backstage or even in the ring, but like to have like a prolonged storyline alliance type thing with like at the top of the title picture is I mean, that's huge. What
Yeah,
was it like working with Trish? And
great. She has taught me so much within the short amount of time that we were really working together. I really do hope at some point down the line that her and I get to finish our story. We didn't really get that opportunity as after me giving her the Z360 to continue on of like doing a singles match between the two of us. So hopefully, fingers crossed that sometime down the road we get to do that. But she's such a cool human being. She's helped me out so much. And even just on Monday Night Raw in general, when she's at home doing her own thing, working on her own shows, she'll take the time out of her day to talk with me on the phone if I needed any sort of advice. So
That's awesome.
she's a mentor really to me now,
Well, and yeah, as someone who really enjoyed that storyline, I hope we get to see that, come full circle, because there is more story to tell there. But obviously, you have a big match in front of you. You're taking on one of the most powerful people in WWE right
Yeah.
now, in Ripley for the title. What would, not just, I mean, obviously winning the top prize, in WWE is something like you always strive for, and is always going to be an
For
accomplishment. But
sure.
taking someone down that's like at her level right now, I feel like gives it a little bit of an extra bonus or oomph. Is that the case? How are you looking at that right now?
Um, she needs to come down a few pegs, so I'm happy to be the one to put her in her place. She really thinks she runs the women's Raw division. Yeah, she might hold that title, but she doesn't run it. She's too worried about the boys instead of that title.
Too worried about Dom Dom. Also,
Yeah, too worried about little Dom Dom.
is that a cameo from Sly?
It is, yeah. He just knocked over one of my Santa things, and he's being a little, he's a little hyper right now. It seems like.
It's amazing. By the way, if there is I feel like it's always one of those things, being in a video game and being an action figure, are like one of those things that if you're in this business, I feel like are cool, like watermarks along the way, like cool landmark
Yeah,
things. If when that next figure comes out, like is we're going to have a Sly accessory? Like, that's got to be
that
a
would be
part of the deal.
awesome. Cody Rhodes gets to have his dog Pharaoh, so I should be able to have my cat Sly, right?
Yeah, I
And
think
I'm
it's a
still
thing.
waiting on my action figure. I don't have one yet, so I'm still waiting on the day.
We gotta, yeah. I feel like
We got to get it done,
after Survivor Series, we gotta have a Zoey Stark reveal. It's gotta happen.
right?
What's the gear, by the
Yeah.
way? If they do the figure, what's the gear?
Ooh, I don't know. What do you think?
I love the so you've had a couple reds, but there's the red
Yeah,
and gold
yeah,
gear that rules. So that's a good one. I know it was a
yeah.
big thing for like the Iron Man comparisons for a time, but even without the Iron Man stuff, it's still cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So cool.
I don't know. Maybe like I'm like I might be going towards a tight tier for the next couple of months. I don't know. It's hard to choose. I have no idea.
It's hard to choose. They got to do a chase so they can give you two options. That's the only
Right.
way
I
to do it.
know. Yeah.
Um, well, and speaking about partnerships before, for a minute, it seemed like you and Shayna Baszler were kind of, going to form a little
Mhm.
alliance, a little team. And then, like, obviously, things have just kind of gone a different way. Was that something that was in the works? Was that always going to be a short-term thing?
I mean, we really don't know. I wish I could give you an answer to that, but Shane and I, we have no clue. But as of right now, we have our mutual respect, and then we'll just see where it goes from here.
Absolutely. And you also had, adding to the accomplishments here, Crown Jewel. Great
Yep.
performance at Crown Jewel, but also Crown Jewel is not just an event. It's also, being in a different country, the experience of everything that kind
Mm.
of surrounds it. What was that like?
It was a lot of fun. So the first time when I was in Saudi, I had to hide a little bit, so I wasn't able to really venture out and check things out. But this time, I was able to walk around with WWE and check out a lot of things. To where it's like they had their own little city walk that we walked around, and they had certain attractions, and I had a lot of fun there this time around, just because I was able to go check everything out.
Absolutely. I know I got to let you go soon, but it would be remiss to not mention, WrestleMania 40, not crazy far
Yeah,
away. We're about to be on
nope,
the road. Um,
we're getting there.
you've already you mentioned it early. I mean, you've worked with Becky already. You've worked with Trish. Like you're working with Ripley now, so you're already
Mhm.
kind of in that picture. But do you have a dream? WrestleMania moment? Is it for that moment? Is it possible for that moment to happen at 40, or is that like a little longer term thing?
Uh, I think at this point anything's possible. If you were to tell me 6 months ago, that I would be, going up against Rhea Ripley at Survivor Series, I would say you're crazy because that's too soon. But here we are, So anything's possible, and I would love. Man, there's so many girls that I want to work. I want to wrestle Bianca Belair, Io Sky, even Bailey, or when Dakota comes back, something with Dakota. Um, but Charlotte, like there's all these girls that I would love nothing more to get into the ring with. So really, whoever you give me at WrestleMania, it will be fun and it'll be great.
Well, and do you keep an eye on? We've got so much crossover between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT these days. There's so much movement between them. That wasn't really the case when you were in NXT, but it really is a thing now. Do you keep an eye on like any of the competitors there, any of the girls that can possibly come to the division? We just had Ivy Nile join Raw and things. Do you keep an eye on? Is there anyone that's caught your eye right now for the future of that brand?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of girls. Like Lash Legend right now is doing a great job. She's going to be a part of the Iron Survivor Challenge match. So, I'm super happy for her. You have Fallon over there. You have a lot of the girls like Lyra, the new NXT Women's Champion. Like, there's a lot of girls who have a lot of potential. I'm super excited for them. And, I'm not going to lie. I wish we kind of had that crossover when I was in NXT.
Yeah. Well, one day soon, right? You'll just pop up on there and be holding that title on the.
And I would love to. I still want to hold that title at some point. The NXT Women's Championship still on my bucket list.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And we just saw, Becky have a run, right? So it's that possibilities there now. So yeah, let's make that happen. Let's make an action figure. We got to get the action figure going, and then we got to get the NXT title run. We got a lot to do.
We have a lot to do. So let's just make it happen now.
Oh, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. All the best success at Survivor Series, but also beyond.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.